Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. It was a quiet July morning in East Point, Michigan, until a deadly altercation at a local McDonald's that stunned the community. This is the chilling story of Afeni Badu Mohammed and the tragic unaliving of manager Jennifer Harris on July 10th, 2025. Before the violence, it was just another workplace argument. Around 7:50 a.m., 39-year-old manager Jennifer Harris reportedly sent her employee, 26-year-old Afeni Mohammed, home early due to performance issues. 2 days earlier, Mohammed posted on Instagram a rant calling Harris a bully who brings negative energy. She warned somebody about to do something about that.
I got sent home early yesterday. I got sent home early today by the same person. I'm telling you, she's a bully. This shit isn't funny. She needs to understand that just because she's a mother and got children doesn't mean that she can come in the store, disrespecting people, talking to them like everybody's beneath her. She has no respect. And it isn't funny at all. Like, seriously, man, I got shit I gotta take care of. And she keeps sending me home early. It's not funny. She's playing games. And then all day, throughout the day, she keeps sending her little racial shit. And then throughout the day, she keeps on, putting negative energy in the air, talking about people, gossiping about people. It's not funny, man. That shit gonna have to stop. She's a bully. I'm telling you. She's a bully. She brings a lot of negative energy in there. She always panic when there's a lot going on. And then she try to manipulate that and make it seem like we ain't doing something right. But we are working really hard and doing great. It's just the fact that she panicked. And I caught her a few times making a mistake. And she tried to hurry up and play it off. Nobody's perfect. It's fucking McDonald's. It happens. You know what I mean? Sometimes, somebody might get confused. So fuck, it gets busy, yeah. But she needs to stop playing like she don't be making mistakes. I be catching her. So all that animosity and shit that she keep putting in the air and stuff, and then trying to tell me, I'm always snapping on people. No, that's false. No, I don't snap on people. I don't go in there doing that. I tell her, no, I make peace. That's what I'm doing. I've been creating peace. So all that negative energy that she's bringing in there and trying to manipulate it, no, that's going to stop. All that negative shit she's saying about, her personal life, all of that. No, she's bringing all of that in there and then playing games saying she want to take her belt off and beat somebody. Y'all act like my kids in here. No, we ain't your kids. Respect us. Stop talking to us like that. That shit is crazy. I'm telling you. But to get sent home 2 days in a row, man, and I came in on my off day to make up my time, and she still sends me home early, it's not funny. Somebody will have to do something about that. It's not funny. It's not fair. It isn't funny at all. So, she could keep being a bully if she wants to, but that shit is going to catch up to her. Because it ain't funny at all. It ain't. Then one day she coming in there talking about some, I broke my door in half and I had to pull my gun out on my kids and this and that. Well, telling us that, the fuck you telling us you pulled a gun out on your kids for? You sound like a fucking psychopath. That's what I wanted to tell her. She was talking about some she blacked out. I'm like, yeah, you must have had blacked out if you pulled the gun out on your kids. I'm like, what the fuck you telling me this for? She think she's trying to make it seem like that she big dog or some shit. Give a fuck about you telling me about you pulling the gun out on a kid. I don't fucking, that shit doesn't scare me. You know what I mean? That shit doesn't scare me. If she thought she was trying to intimidate me, that shit didn't intimidate me at all. I don't give a fuck about her telling me about what the fuck she did. Maybe that's why they always fighting her, to defend themselves. They probably felt like their life was threatened. The fuck out of here with that shit.
After being sent home that morning, Mohammed left but returned within minutes, saying, "I'll be back." Witnesses say she stepped out to her car shortly before 8 a.m. Surveillance and witness testimony revealed she returned wearing a hooded mask, entered through the back, and pulled a large kitchen knife, reportedly over 3 inches long, from her vehicle. With up to 15 stab wounds, the assault was fatal. A drive-thru customer, legally armed, intervened, firing a warning shot, then holding Mohammed at gunpoint as she tried to flee. Police soon arrived and took her into custody. Once in custody, Mohammed admitted with chilling clarity, "I intended to unalive her," she confessed. She'd driven to a nearby park to collect the knife before returning to the restaurant. Investigators also linked this crime to at least one prior stabbing, making it clear that this wasn't an isolated incident. On July 11th, 2025, Mohammed was arraigned in the 38th District Court and charged with first-degree premeditated murder and carrying a weapon with unlawful intent. Bond was shockingly set at $25 million cash, surety only. Should she be able to post this bond, there are conditions, and those conditions are as follows. She must remain in Michigan, wear a GPS tether, and undergo daily check-ins, as well as submitting to drug and alcohol testing. Additionally, she should have no contact with the victim's family or the McDonald's location.
Detective Showers, please approach for the swear-to. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the information being provided is true and accurate to the best of your information, knowledge, and belief, subject to penalties of perjury?
I do.
Put your hand down. With regard to the defendant, Afani Muhammad, please set forth a factual basis for the warrant request.
Yes, Your Honor. 7/10/25, McDonald's employee Afeni Muhammad stabbed McDonald's manager Jennifer Harris multiple times with a kitchen knife at the McDonald's restaurant at 179219 Mile. Harris was not armed at the time and died of her injuries. Prior to the stabbing, Muhammad was sent home by Harris for not performing her work duties and told Harris, "I'll be back." Muhammad was arrested on scene and the knife was recovered. Muhammad admitted that she intended to kill Harris and stated that after she was sent home, she drove to a nearby park, decided to come back and stab Harris with a knife that she had inside of her vehicle. When Muhammad returned to stab Harris, she entered the back entrance with a hooded mask over her face in an attempt to conceal her identity and attempted to flee the scene after the stabbing, but was stopped by an armed customer.
And the requested charges are murder in the first degree, count 2, dangerous weapon carrying with unlawful intent, and there's a habitual second notice offense. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
The warrant is being signed and we can proceed to arraignment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Calling file number 25354, People versus Afani Badu Muhammad. Counsel appearances for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sean Hayes, on behalf of the people.
Thank you very much, John. Please, this honorable court, may I give a time period on behalf of Mrs. Muhammad, who does appear via Zoom.
Your name, please, ma'am.
Afeni Muhammad.
Very good. You're here today for arraignment on the charges of murder in the first degree, premeditated, count 2, carrying a weapon with unlawful intent, and a habitual second notice. Mr. Licata, how does your client wish to proceed?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. At this time, my client is asking the court to enter a not guilty plea. This matter set for a probable cause conference in the preliminary exam. I have advised my client of her rights, as well as the charges against her and the potential penalties. We are ready to proceed on those grounds.
Very good. Ma'am, do you understand the nature of the charges against you to your satisfaction after talking to your attorney?
Yes.
Very good. I will go ahead and enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Are you requesting a court-appointed attorney?
Yes.
I will appoint an attorney to represent you. We'll set this matter for a probable cause conference on July 23rd, 2025 at 1 p.m. The preliminary examination will be on July 30th, 2025 at 1 p.m. As to bond, Mr. Licata.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Just briefly, my client is 26 years old, does live in the great city of East Point. Your Honor, my client is a high school graduate. In fact, is actually was taking some online classes for college for a physical therapy degree. Your Honor, there are some disturbing facts in this particular matter, but there are facts that haven't been brought out yet, and my client is extremely anxious to have those facts brought to light during the pendency of this case. She was in an extremely abusive relationship that was not only mental but physical, that involved alcohol issues, which is where the habitual second stems from, and her prior record. Your Honor, my client is a helpful person. She's a giving person. She's actually is credited with saving a life because of a 60-year-old who had skin cancer that she may go to the doctor to find out that that's exactly what it was, and that person is doing extremely well right now. I understand the facts that have been laid out today in the warrant, but at this time, Your Honor, we are asking the court to consider a bond in this manner that is appropriate, that my client can meet so that she can meet with her attorneys and prepare her defense in this manner. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the people?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Pursuant to court rule, the court is well within its authority to grant no bond involving any case involving murder. In this case, we are requesting no bond for this defendant. Also provided within the court rules are certain factors for this court to consider when determining whether to grant any bond at all, and in this case, we are requesting no bond as I indicate. First of all, the court can consider whether or not this defendant is a threat to the community. She entered a public building with other individuals, other employees that were present. She produced a weapon that was a knife longer than 3 inches, and she stabbed the victim multiple times, up to possibly as many as 15 times, eventually causing her death. There were other employees that were present at the time, some of which attempted to help the victim after the stabbing occurred. That alone is enough to show that there is a threat to the community. She then ran from the building to her vehicle, presumably with the intent to flee from the scene. She was stopped by a helpful bystander. You're also able to consider the likelihood of conviction in this case, given the facts as laid out by Detective Showers and the information that the prosecutors have reviewed in order to charge this defendant. There is a very high likelihood of conviction. And then finally, the defendant does have a prior instance of at least one that I'm aware that involved a stabbing, similar obviously to the stabbing that occurred in this case involving a knife. So given all of those factors, and given the fact that this court does have authority to give no bond to defendants charged with murder, I am asking at this time for no bond in this case.
Thank you, counsel. The court has reviewed the charges and the circumstances surrounding this case. The defendant is facing various serious charges, including murder in the first degree, which is one of the most serious criminal offenses in our state, carrying penalties up to life without parole. Additionally, carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent further underscores defendant's potential threat to public safety. Defendant has a prior criminal record out of Virginia for malicious wounding. It was actually felony malicious wounding that was reduced to unlawful bodily injury concerning a stabbing, and that is what gives rise to the habitual second. And in determining bond, the court must look to the factors outlined in Michigan Court Rule 6.106. Number 1, the seriousness of the offense and the danger posed to the community. The charges here involved a violent crime with a weapon, indicating a substantial risk to the public. The court finds there is a significant threat to public safety, and therefore the bond must reflect that risk. Number 2, the weight of the evidence against the defendant. While the evidence is not fully before us and the defendant is cloaked with the presumption of innocence, the nature of the charges along with the prior criminal history suggests that there is substantial evidence against the defendant. Defendant's criminal history: the defendant has a violent criminal past. The history supports the court's concern that the defendant may engage in further violent conduct if she is released. The defendant's ties to the community: While the defendant is relatively young at 26 years of age, there's no indication that she has any significant stabilizing ties to the community that would ensure her return for court appearances. Without these ties, the court is concerned about the likelihood of flight. Number 5, defendant's risk of fleeing or failing to appear. Due to the severity of the charges and the habitual offender status, it makes the defendant a high risk for flight. The court finds that this factor weighs heavily in favor of a high bond amount. Substance abuse or mental treatment, although there are no reports at this time suggesting that the defendant suffers from mental health or substance abuse issues that would mitigate the risks posed by defendant's release, the court is, after considering all of these factors, going to be setting bond at $25 million, cash surety only, with conditions. If the defendant is able to meet those conditions, she must be on a GPS steel cuff tether. She's not to leave the state of Michigan. She is to report her address within 24 hours of, she must report any change of address within 24 hours. There would be stringent daily contact with community corrections as to her whereabouts. She also would be required to have alcohol and drug testing as condition of her release. There would be no contact with the family of the decedent. Any witnesses, she is not to return to McDonald's. And if she is unable to post the $25 million bond, she will remain in custody pending further proceedings. And that concludes this matter for today. We will see you back here, ma'am, on July 23rd at 1 o'clock for your probable cause conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're all set, ma'am.
The prior conviction discussed by the prosecution at Afeni Muhammad's arraignment on July 11th in the state of Michigan relates to an incident that occurred on January 11th, 2022. She was charged at that time in violation of Virginia's Code Section 18.2-51, which criminalizes the act of wounding another person with intent to seriously harm or unalive. The severity of punishment depends on the presence of malice. With malice, it's a Class 3 felony. Without malice, it would be a Class 6 felony. I am currently working on obtaining that case transcripts so that we can actually take a deeper look into the incident that occurred in Virginia. Jennifer Harris, a devoted mother of 6, left behind a grieving family. Her daughter stated that her mother died trying to take care of them. Days later, the community gathered for a vigil, a final farewell filled with balloons, tears, and silent support. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you to join me in taking a brief moment of silence to honor the memory of Jennifer Harris, a mother, a daughter, and a friend. A life taken far too soon in a very violent manner. Thank you for honoring her with your silence. What's next? In the case of the state of Michigan versus Afeni Badu Mohammed, a probable cause hearing is set for July 23rd, 2025, and a preliminary examination follows on July 30th, 2025. If convicted of first-degree murder, Mohammed faces life without the possibility of parole. Meanwhile, the case continues to raise questions about workplace conflict, mental health, and violence in America. This is a story of tragedy rooted in conflict, a chilling reminder of how quickly tensions can escalate. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, subscribe and click the notification bell for updates on other crime stories from across the United States.
I was wrongfully treated today at work. I was literally physically tapped on a lot of times. My name kept getting called. I was doing a great job. I kept getting sabotaged, tempted, so my button can get pressed and I can go out of character. So although I went out of character, all I could say was stop talking to me. That's all I could say. Stop talking to me. And to walk into my space still bothering me, and I said, get away from me. Please get out of my space if you don't mind. I can't talk right now, and you still continue to touch me. That made me very unhappy. It was ridiculous. Because I know that I'm a great person, and I know I won't be tolerating that. So since they decided to bully me, let the universe show them what's next. Because it wasn't right. It was ridiculous. And there will be hell to pay for that. Without a doubt.